Welcome to the Cobb Cole podcast, where attorneys are of no short supply and your values are met. I'm Jess, the Marketing and Culture Manager here at Cobb Cole, and today we're going to talk to John Ferguson, who is a corporate transactions attorney at Cobb Cole. Welcome to the podcast, John.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Really excited to have you.
Thank you.
Just a little bit about John. He is a part of our transactions department at Cobb Cole. He does a little bit of everything, I think.
Yes.
You mainly do contracts, new businesses, corporations. Is there anything that I'm missing?
So the way I describe it is I'm sort of cradle to grave.
Okay.
If you have a business idea and you really haven't started yet, and the main thing is you want to structure it properly up front. So from the cradle, come talk to me and we'll say, what is the proper structure? What is the ownership now and in the future? Get you lined up so that during the life of your business, I'm there to help you on contracts and things like that. And on the grave side, when you're ready for your exit, for your selling, I help with that as well. So I'm sort of cradle to grave in business.
John is usually known for being the first one in the office and the last one out at the end of the day, unless there's a game at Hooligans or there's something fun after hours. You're also coming off of sort of a runner's high because your team demolished the rest of the teams at Cobb Cole's annual scavenger hunt, right?
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah, no, I'll agree with you that my work-life balance may not be in balance at the current time. With that said, just yesterday, I took one of our young attorneys, one of our brand new babies, 𝘞𝘩𝘢𝘨𝘀, who's also a soccer fan like me, and the UEFA Champions League was on.
See?
So told her, say, no, at 4 o'clock, it's halftime. I said, Cole, we're going across the street to watch the second half. So there was some balance yesterday.
Good. I did have something for you that Matt passed on.
Okay. Oh, geez.
So as a winning attorney of our scavenger hunt every year, the attorneys get to display this hideous goat in their office. And John is the winner this year, so we were excited to pass that on to him.
Well, I will display it proudly in my office. No, but it was a great event. Thank you for putting it on.
Good.
It is a great way to get out of the office and just have fun with people you work with every day.
Yes.
Not thinking about work.
Yes.
Which
it was
great.
A lot of fun.
Yes.
We had a blast.
Yes.
You gave us a lot of laughs throughout the scavenger hunt, so thank you. So what we're going to do to kind of get started is a speed or a rapid round.
Okay.
A lot of the questions that we're going to talk about later in the podcast, we're going to go more in depth with them later on in the podcast. But for this particular session, we're going to do rapid fire.
All right. So you want an attorney to be short with their answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay. All right. I got the instructions.
I brought us something to hold us accountable because
All right. Okay.
we need that. This is a forgiving minute. Really, it's like 2 minutes total, I think, on our hourglass. So I'm going to ask you 10 quick questions. They're all going to be covered later. We're going to go further into them later.
Okay.
But this is sort of your just initial response. What do you think about X, Y, or Z?
Okay.
Okay.
I can handle that.
We're going to try and complete them before the hourglass is out. Are you ready?
Okay. Ready. 12 seconds each.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from Daytona Beach. Born in Halifax Hospital.
Me too. How'd you land at Cobb Cole?
I was in law school, and one of my best friends, John Cole, who's the son of Warren Cole, was working there, and I got a job through him.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's so cool. Why transactions?
I started in litigation.
Ew.
Exactly. Did land use.
Ran away.
Did land use after that. And it just sort of fell into transactions because it was more of my personality.
Okay. Who do you help the most with your work?
I think business owners.
Okay.
I think that's the general class that I help the most.
If you're buying a business, what's the first step that you would tell someone?
Plan. Don't jump into anything. It is not a quick process. You want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you purchase.
Wise. New owner blind spots.
Ooh. So managing people
Ooh,
is the most difficult aspect of running any business.
yeah.
And until you've done it, you don't understand what.
It's a reality check
Yes,
for everyone.
exactly.
Biggest rookie mistake for a business owner?
Thinking that you can do it yourself.
That's a good one.
You can get, you need a good CPA, you need a good attorney,
Mhm.
you have people that you can hire to help you.
Right. They're experts for reasons.
Yes.
How do you avoid partner disputes with a business?
It's all about
It's a challenging
preparation up
one.
front.
Okay.
People who come to me with a partner dispute
Mhm.
after it's already a dispute is a problem. If you come to me ahead of time, we can put things in place. You can't prevent them,
Right.
but you
right.
can put procedures in place to resolve them.
Right. For a client's first meeting, what should they expect?
Client's first meeting, really it is about telling me
Mhm.
about them, about their opportunity, what they desire to do. I need to understand all that background before I'm able to give you advice that's going to be helpful.
Right. Last but not least, oh, we were so close.
I think the questions were taking a little too long. It wasn't the answers.
Best way to reach you, John.
Email.
Okay. All right, that was the end of our rapid fire
Okay.
version. And now we're going to go into some more in-depth questions with you.
Okay.
So, your education. I know you said you were from Daytona Beach.
Mhm.
You're local, like me, except for I'm really a DeLandite versus Daytona. I was born in Halifax, though. You're from the area. Where did you go to school?
So, a clarification, I was born in Halifax,
Okay.
but my parents immediately moved.
Oh my!
So,
As a baby?
oh yeah. We
Okay.
moved up to Baltimore. And so
Ooh.
from roughly 2 years old to 7 or 8 years old, I lived in Baltimore. Now, my grandparents always lived in Daytona, so we'd always come back.
Was your vacation spot for a little while?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. So, but as far as schooling, I grew up in Bradenton, Florida. We moved from Baltimore down to Bradenton.
It's pretty in Bradenton.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm a Florida boy, Daytona born, but did not come back here until 1991 in the clerk program.
Okay. So your education, where did you go to school?
Okay. So right out of high school, I went to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
My first 2 years of undergrad were University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
I was having too much fun, and I decided I needed to get serious. So my last 2 years, I transferred to FSU,
Okay.
to a non-party school.
I was gonna say, okay.
So graduated FSU in 1990. Went to law school at FSU and graduated in 93.
Okay. So you made it back to Florida.
Yes.
And then did you stay in Florida after that?
Yes.
Okay.
So while I was in law school,
Mm-hmm.
between actually during my second year,
Mm-hmm.
I took the clerk job with Cobb Cole. We had a Tallahassee office at the time.
Yep.
Came down that summer, worked here in the Daytona office. Right after that, they offered me a job. So right out of law school, I came to Cobb Cole and have not left.
Huh. What a neat story. I didn't even know
Yep.
that you worked at the Tallahassee office. That's so cool.
Yep. Most people don't know we had a Tallahassee office.
I did find that out last year when we were doing our 100 year stuff. Our fun facts for the office. All right, John. So you told me how you got started at Cobb Cole. What spoke to you about the transactions department? Why did you end up where you ended up?
So in a lot of the law, you're doing a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting with people all day long. If you're litigation,
It's exhausting.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Land use even. Land use, you can be more collaborative if you have the right people on the other side, but not always.
Right.
In business, I can tell you 1,000 reasons why not to do a deal. But there's one reason to do a deal, because you want the deal. You
Right.
came to me, you're a business person, you want this deal. So my job is not to kill a deal. My job is to understand what you want, tell you what the risks are, tell you options. All right, this is a risk, but is it a real risk? What do we do this over here? Come up with ways to get you to getting that deal done. Now, at the end of the day, it's still your decision, and you may not like those risks, and you may not do the deal. That's your
Right.
choice. My job is not to kill it. My job is just to educate.
What is the favorite thing that you do in the transactions department? What's your favorite sort of case to come in? Or
So I really have two answers
Mm-hmm.
for two different reasons. I like the Cradle side because people come in excited.
Mm-hmm.
They have an idea. They've had, I've wanted to do this for the last 10 years. And
Right.
whether they've saved enough money or they've got the courage or whatever it is, they want to do it, and that's exciting.
It's a really big step.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I love that they trust me to help them with that. And that's gratifying for me.
Right.
From the day-to-day work perspective, mergers and acquisitions, acquiring and selling businesses is fun.
Is it?
It is because they are very complex transactions.
Okay.
They're purchase agreements. I've worked on purchase agreements that are over 100 pages long, and that's just the purchase agreement. That doesn't count the employment agreements, the lease agreements, the bills of sale, the trademark stuff. So you have to learn. It's a big puzzle,
Right.
and you're putting together a puzzle,
Right.
and so it is a lot of fun.
I'm glad you love your job.
I love my job.
Your clients are usually business owners or future business owners.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more about your ideal clients or your clients that you have right now.
Probably once again, I have to give you two different answers.
Okay.
Because ideal, what is ideal? Ideal, if it's all about, the amount of work that can be generated, well, then you have your major manufacturing clients with 150 employees
Right.
and multitude of issues every day.
Lots to do for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that is an ideal client. It's a lot of fun because there's a lot of different areas you can
Right.
focus on.
Right.
But the other side also is that startup, that one where, and this is a tricky balance. They're a startup and they need me because there are a lot of issues they don't know. And if they don't do it right the first time, it's actually 10 times more expensive to fix a problem that you didn't come see me before. But
Right.
I also understand we're expensive and you can't come to me on every little issue because you can't afford it.
Right.
I would rather you put that money into your business, grow the business, so you're one of those big clients. And so the ideal client is one that I can help start and grow their business without me being too involved. So
Okay.
it involves me doing a lot of coaching on, hey, you can do this yourself, you can do this yourself, and try
Right.
to help them that way.
Awesome. So the question of the hour for you is what to do when you're purchasing an existing business. What are some steps that someone should take?
First, you're going to want to make sure you have your CPA lined up and your attorney lined up.
Very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every transaction, whether you're buying or selling, the first question I ask,
Mhm.
who's your CPA? And, CPAs are like attorneys. Some are excellent,
Right.
some are not. Some focus on the transaction world, others just do tax returns.
Right.
And so if you don't have the right CPA, it's sort of difficult sometimes because
Yes.
your CPA is not the right CPA.
Creating problems for
Mhm.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that coming in on start of a transaction, making sure you have your team in place. Now, it also depends upon whether you have a target already, or whether you have an idea of what you want,
Right.
and you haven't. And so that goes to whether you get a broker involved. And like CPAs, like attorneys, there's some great brokers I work with, and there are some that
Can go horribly wrong.
who bring nothing to the table. And so once again, making sure if you don't have a target yet, making sure helping you line up that right broker, that you get someone that knows what they're doing and will actually assist in getting the transaction closed, not just say, give me my check.
Right. Right. What are some things to be aware of as a new business owner? Someone just getting started.
Assuming that you have employees.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things you're going to want to make sure is you have your internal documents for your own employees lined up properly. What is that?
Right.
Making sure you have your employee policies and procedures in place. Making sure you have the person who's going to be able to handle the payroll, whether that's you, someone on your staff, or whether it's outsourcing.
Right.
You don't want to get sideways with the Department of Revenue with the state or the Internal Revenue Service with the feds. Quickest way to tear down a business. So it really it's laying that foundation and also having agreements with your employees. Now, some people come to me and say, "Hey, I need a non-compete." Okay, let's talk about it. Do you really need a non-compete?
Right.
Does it matter if Sally, goes down the street and starts competing with you? Now if you're training Sally If Sally has access to all this great information, if Sally has access to all your customers and clients, well, then there's a conversation. It may not be a non-compete.
Right.
It could be a non-solicitation agreement. Hey, Sally, I'm fine with you going down the street and competing. You just can't take my employees and you can't take my customers or you can't take my vendors. That is a little easier to draft and a little easier for Sally to sign. And so, making sure your relationship with your employees, because your employees are what's going to be able to drive your business. I think that's the key startup.
Okay. It's all about the employees, it sounds like.
It is.
Keeping track of all of them and doing the right things.
Yep.
What's one of the biggest mistakes that a new business owner has made or makes?
Not being willing to pivot.
Okay. Not being flexible.
Not being flexible. They come in and, like I said earlier, this is their dream. They've been thinking about this for 5 or 6 years, and they're going to do it. This is how they're going to do it.
They have the energy. They're ready to go. Yeah.
Sometimes you're not right. Or sometimes you're right, but things change. And so being willing to say, know what, this is not working. And yes, this was my vision, but know what, I need some help on retooling. How do I make it work? How do I change it?
Right. Sometimes you're not the right person. You have to have someone come in and they're the right person.
We don't all have all the skill sets.
Right.
Yes.
Being a visionary is one thing and doing the action is another.
Yes.
I have a wild card question for you. How should a business owner best prevent disputes between partners or shareholders? What's something that they can do to prevent that from happening?
The single biggest way to avoid it is before you start, you come to me or someone like me and walk through what your business plan is, what you expect each of the owners, and I'll call them owners because if it's a corporation, they're shareholders. If it's an LLC, it's a member. If it's a partnership, it's partners. Owners.
Right.
What are each of the owners expected to do? Both in the terms of service and as well as money.
Right.
What happens if one of them doesn't do that?
How are they held accountable?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can think of it this way, though. So, okay, we each going to agree to put in $50,000 over the first year for operating costs, and then something happens to me, and I don't have $50,000. I'm not a bad guy. I truly don't have it. If I had it, I put it in.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Right.
So, if you have the right paperwork in place ahead of time, options include, all right, if you want to put that in, then you get distributions first, repaid it as a loan with a nice interest rate, or maybe you put it in and now we're no longer 50-50 where the ownership changes.
Right, right.
There are things you can put in place to help protect the relationship.
Okay.
Because you're starting a business, presumably with someone you like and or trust or respect.
So, yeah.
You would hope. And going back to a big mistake, if you don't trust the person, don't get in the business with them.
Don't do
it. So my job is try to put in place a mechanism to maintain that relationship that, hey, I'm not being a bad guy. The agreement says this.
Right.
And it could have easily been me, not you, but the company needs money. I got to put it in. So therefore the agreement says this. And hopefully that preserves the relationship if they're truly friends.
Yeah. So what should a potential client or new client expect when they come into the office to meet with you?
That is going to be the best day of their life. What should they expect? They should expect at the first half to do most of the talking. It'll be me asking questions.
To give you the information. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Then depending upon what the issues are, the second half, I'll be doing a lot of the talking. I tell everybody, I have zero problem telling you something that I think is true and accurate if I truly believe it. Yeah. I'm equally confident saying I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. And I'm not going to just give you an answer because you're looking at me saying you want an answer. I don't know. I got 24 other attorneys in this office. The beautiful thing about working at Cobb Cole is I have on the civil side someone who is an expert or close to an expert on most issues.
Yeah.
And if I don't know it, I go ask them.
Yeah. So many other practice areas that we get to engage with too.
Yes.
It's fantastic. How is Cobb Cole creating a different experience for our corporate clients or business clients that maybe smaller businesses are not experiencing? What are we doing that others are not?
So I think the way I describe Cobb Cole is, we are the big fish in the small pond. We have the breadth of practice that our clients can come to us with a one-stop shop. Now, are there things we don't do? Sure, of course. We don't do criminal. We don't do personal injury. We don't do patents. We don't do SEC regulations. I mean, there are things we don't do.
I always say we don't do the messy things, the
Yes.
messy parts of law.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. Without a doubt, those are things we don't want to do.
Yeah.
But I think for a business, it's nice to have that one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to have that one attorney who is sort of like the quarterback of, with my business clients. I pretty much know what's going on from a legal perspective on everything we're doing. I'm not doing the work.
Right.
And I'm not charging them for the work, but I want, if I have 𝘊𝘪𝘴𝘵 do the trademarks for them, Heather copy music on everything so that plays into my advice to the client on other issues. If Doug Collins is handling an employment law issue for them, I need to know that because that's going to factor into my recommendations on, if they're hiring new employees, what do you do?
Right.
So that's harder to do if Heather Vargas and Doug Collins weren't working with me every day and I don't see them every day.
Right.
And so I think that is a huge benefit that businesses that use us receive that those others who don't.
Right. Your consultations, when you have initial consultations, do you meet with them in the office or is it over the phone? Do you do DeLand and Daytona or?
Okay. It's what the client wants. So, I do charge a consultation fee for my initial consultations. And sometimes people ask why. Because if I spend an hour, I could be telling you not to do something.
Right.
And by the way, if that's the right advice, I'm going to say, yeah, you don't want to hire me. You don't want to do that deal. This is the reasons why. I'm giving legal advice.
Right.
Or I could be telling you things, do it this way, set up this way, do this, do that. And that, like I said before, anything I can have you do yourself safely, I'll tell you. I'll tell you how to do it. But so I charge my time, even for the initial consult. Whether it's in person, phone, Zoom, Daytona, DeLand, I do defer to the client. Because, if it's going to be something really messy or something really document intensive,
Right.
Then in person is usually best. You can do Zoom and sharing screens, but
You prefer seeing the person.
I'm an old guy. I like in person.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I have one final question for you, but I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, even though you had to run through the rain to get here, or you might have to run back now. We'll see. How would someone plan to contact you if they're interested in your services?
So my telephone number is 386-323-9247.
Okay.
My email is my name, John, JOHN_FERGUSON @ and this is all together, Cobb Cole, COBBCOLE.com. Whatever's best for you, whether it's a phone call, whether it's an email, we will get a meeting set up and we will get you started.
Fantastic. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jessica.
Have
I appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
If you're interested in hearing more about corporate transaction services at Cobb Cole, please contact us at 386-255-8171. We proudly serve all of Volusia and beyond with offices in Daytona Beach and DeLand. Cobb Cole is a multi-lawyer firm specializing in practice areas from land use to employment law. Cobb Cole, your legal compass.
The information you obtain from this podcast is not, nor is it intended to be, legal advice. You should consult an attorney for advice regarding your individual situation. We invite you to contact us and welcome your calls, letters, and electronic mail. Contacting us does not create an attorney-client relationship. Please do not send any confidential information to us until such time as an attorney-client relationship has been established.